Hey everybody, Jay and Brian here again. Those that haven't seen this before, I'm Jay Niblick. I'm the co-founder and president CEO of Intermetrics, and Bryan Arzani is the president of Intermetrics North America, and 16, 17 years now running. So we're here to give you educational content on how to increase your profits as a consultant, independent business consultant, trying to get started, struggling to get it bigger, trying to get to the next level. That's what we are. We've got 1,700 consultants in around 52 countries. We call them certified Intermetrics consultants. And for the next 20 minutes, we're going to be feeding you some really, really cool educational content. Now,
why 20, baby? Tell them the story of 20.
Now, if the topic is to help you learn how to be more profitable, our very first reality was if you got an hour to listen to more educational crap, I can tell you why you're not profitable enough right now. Okay? So you got 20 minutes, then it's time to go sell some shit. So
hopefully by 20, you're getting pissed too. You're like, get it to the point. Let's go.
That's it. That's what we're doing. So today we're talking about breaking that profit ceiling, breaking through that revenue ceiling. And you're going to need this at some point in your life, whether you're getting to start the business, there's multiple ceilings as you go, and you're always going to run into them like a runner. So one of the things that we do at Intermetrics in helping you become a more profitable consultant is teach a methodology that revolves around separating your time for their money. When you trade time for money, you're either going to kill yourself trying to get more money because you don't have more time. At some point, it's finite. You can't change the clock. You can't mess with, how many hours a week you want to work. You kill yourself working 100 hours a week and you think this is the way it's supposed to be, right? Good old American grit and determination. You work 100 hours a week, you make a bunch of money. You're never going to make any more than a certain ceiling because you're tying your revenue to a finite resource. That's called you and your time. And so whenever you do anything transactional, that's time for money. If I come in and I speak with you for an hour in a coaching session, that's trading time for money. I'm not saying these are ever wrong. That's a good way to get started. These are healthy things to do, but think about the big picture. How do I really grow that? All right, I'm going to do training on this individual. I'm going to have 10 people in a room. How do I do more than that? You have to increase the individuals or the value. So if I'm one-on-one coaching, I have to charge a whole lot more because I want to be able to have money that I'm making now for when I'm not coaching. I need to double charge. So when I'm gone for a week, I'm still making a week's salary and I had to make it up here on the extra, or I got to live real thin and live off of half of it, put it all away. If I'm training, I got to train either more hours or I got to get more butts in seats. Well, there's a finite limit there too. I'm still trading time for money. I'm just getting more money and I'm maximizing my time. That's awesome. What we talk about is really blowing that wide out, just completely blowing it away. And we call it the DTS model. Before I talk about the DTS model, Brian's lived this. I've lived this. Brian, you started out trading time for money. We've talked about this. You're not trading it now. How did you figure it out? What practical, tactical steps did you do to break that ceiling numerous times I've seen?
Well, even before I go to kind of what I did, it's interesting. You got to look at, right? How did this model of trading time for money ever start? I mean, do you know, I mean, I don't even know where trading time for money came from. Do you?
English derivation of hire. It's
okay.
To employ for labor. I mean, it comes from, I will pay you to do X. It's transactional to begin with.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that most of the people on this, watching this podcast here have probably learned how to generate a business of sort from somebody else. I learned from somebody else. I modeled the behavior of the person that was showing me. And obviously we all have vendors we buy, whether it's material, curriculum, profiles, whatever. We learn from somebody else who learned from somebody else who obviously is modeling a model that was built for an employer to an employee. But we're all independent business consultants. And for some reason, we've decided that we're going to go to market with a model that looks like we're an employee of somebody else. And so I love how you talk about the breaking through this ceiling. And so when Intermetrics came out with this model of providing this relationship, and I love the word you use, it's a platform, this platform relationship of an unlimited model. What's so strange is we still have consultants today that still operate in that transactional mindset. And they get exactly what they get, which is a limited amount based on them, their face in front of somebody. But one of the things that you really challenged me to do, and I think you asked the question, you said, Bryan, you can have 10 clients that, do, 50,000 or, maybe get into a 6-figure contract a year, but those are all like elephants, right? One of them leaves you, they kill you, or you're always this, the profitable consultant model, the book that you wrote, Jay, where you kill yourself to get a client and then you're doing it. And then you go through this famine. And you said, Bryan, what if rather than having 10 clients that did 100,000 a year with you, what if you had 1,000 clients that did a few hundred a month with you? And that was a question. And I had to look inside of my heart. And I got to tell you, Jay, that blew my mind up to think how, first of all, I couldn't even imagine having 100 clients that might do a few $100s a month with me. And maybe what if, rather than going to 1,000 clients that might do a couple $100, what if I could just get my head around maybe 50 clients that might do a couple thousand? And now here's the thing. There isn't that many hours a month. There isn't that many, days. And so I had to really look inside and go, what is this different thing? We've got some consultants who are great coaches. We've got some consultants that are great trainers. We've got consultants that are great organizational development. We got folks that are great recruiters. Our breadth of consultant, we don't appeal to one genre. What we appeal to is consultants that say, you know what? And here's what's funny. People don't value what the platform of Intermetrics can do for them until I call it broken enough eggs and pissed enough money down their leg, right? You have to have experienced some serious struggle in your life as a consultant and felt the struggle of, I remember going to my first training back in 2000. This guy said to me, he was going, yeah, I kicked ass last year. I said, why is that? And he goes, I trained 157 days, Bryan. You get to 157 days and you've become somebody. And I thought, dude, 157, this guy looked like hell. His eyes were sunk in. He was 300 pounds. He was very unhealthy. I thought, I don't want that. But he made a ton of money. So this model, this thinking differently of how do I get 50 clients that might do a few $100, maybe $1,000 a month. That was that different thinking. And the DTS model was figuring out what my genius was and then find a client that I could do it for, right? And not only just do it, but unpack it and train them and then support. Jay, you're my mentor, man. You're my Yoda. So I don't mean to act all like high and mighty like you are, but dude, I learned so much from soaking this in and just going out and believing and drinking the Kool-Aid and doing it. But it freaking works, man.
You've executed it to the nth degree. That's why it's important that these people understand when they're learning from you. You haven't just theoretically thought about this shit. You've walked the walk and talked the talk. You've done it. Bryan mentioned DTS. So DTS is the do it, teach it, support it model. Okay. That's what's in the Profitable Consultant. That's what we teach here. There's no panacea. There's no one pill that cures all, but so people will still do transactional here and people will still do a large engagement for the giant here, but this diversifies. The main values here is it diversifies your risk. So it's diluting that, de-risking it, where that one big client, we had a guy who, we won't mention names, but came to us just 2 years ago, I guess it was, Bryan, and you know him, and said, man, I just lost a $75,000 a year account and a $90,000 a year account. Yep. Now, side story was, I said, well, why was that? He said, I don't know. I haven't talked to him in like 11 months. I said, well, okay, dumbass, no wonder you lost the account. But that's a huge risk, okay? Because that guy's not making $1 million. That guy might have been making $300,000-$400,000 a year. I don't even think probably $4. He's probably around $3. Yeah. He just had 33%, in that 1 year, boom, gone like that. So diversifying, like any other financial investment kind of mentality, de-risks and allows you to not have any one client that's just so potentially powerful and devastating that you would get hurt by it, which empowers them as well. So DTS, do it, teach it, support it. So first, your value proposition is as that expert, as that authority. You go do it, and it's going to be transactional as hell. You go do a coaching session with an executive. You go do a sales training program, a team building workshop, a leadership development, whatever it is, you're the expert that's going to come in and show them how freaking awesome it is. So this is where the profiles come in, because in order to do the DTS model, you have to have something that delivers value when you're not there.
And is unlimited, right? I mean,
and that's the key. That's why we're the very first profile company in the world to offer an unlimited. So that's doing it. This is where most people start. This is where a lot of people stay, is, hey, next time you need training, call me and I'll come back in and do it for you again. or I'll do coaching or resolution, conflict resolution, whatever it is that allows you to what you're doing. I'm going to be back the next time you need it. Now I got to go out and find another company. It's dead. The transaction's done. No money coming in. Right. Of course, I'm not giving any work out, so that's okay. But I'm not making anything. DTS says, take it from there and say, now, was that valuable? Did you like that? Okay. It's teach the fish is the same approach you need to take. All right. Well, tell you what, I could teach your staff. Now you have to have a client that has somebody in-house that can do this. So there's a certain level of organization that has to have the bench strength. But you say to them, was it valuable? Did you like it? Cool. That's awesome. You could keep leasing this knowledge and benefit from me every time you need it. And it's going to be expensive. Would you rather just buy it? You already have staff that can do this. If you want, why don't I transfer this knowledge and capability to them? Why don't I transfer this skill to them and then they can do it? So you've made money the first time in the transaction, you know, 5,000, 50,000, whatever. Now, why don't I, let me teach this, transfer this knowledge to your existing staff. Let me make them that much better. Okay, it's going to be a $10,000 training fee. Again, transactional, I'll come in, I'll train them. But that's the T part is I'll teach them. And then the support part is now I'm teaching them to do a methodology that revolves around profiles. Human capital. They have to understand the personality assessment of the individuals they're training or the team that they're working on or the people that they're hiring. So I'm showing them how these profiles with my knowledge is valuable. I'm offering to teach it to them, making money both transactions, and then terminating that transactional relationship by saying, I'm going to license the profiles to you. I'm transferring the knowledge. Give me 10 grand. Give me your 5 people. I'm going to train them for the next 2 days. And then every month you're going to pay me to get the profiles that those new people I just trained need in order to do what I told them how to do. And that support level goes to this. I don't like passive residual income because it sometimes is perceived to mean I don't have to talk to them for 11 months. And this is why, the guy was saying, but it's a very low support level. If I teach them that this tail drops off very quickly to within 3 months, 2 months, they're calling you once every couple of months going, I got a weird profile, but there you're getting the engine up, the flywheel up and running. You showed them how valuable it is. You put a flywheel in place and then you go back every couple of months or month and you kick it and you go, everything good. They're doing the work and they're paying you $200, $500, $2,000 a month. It depends on the size of the organization and how many profiles they need, but it's a flat, unlimited rate.
Well, I'd push back too, Jay. It's not always, I'd say it's not going to be about the number of profiles they need. It's actually how much they're going to be applying the application of the knowledge. And so
good point.
We've had some consultants out there that are working with HVAC companies of maybe 50 employees. And the owner of this HVAC company, it may only be a $6 million a year HVAC company, but they're investing, I won't say spending, they're investing $36,000 a year, $3,000 a month to have that consultant there every other week for 1 hour. And all she does is goes in and checks in and just simply asks the owner, how you doing? And then here's the question, and this is some magic. So get your pen and paper ready here, those that are watching this, because here's the magical piece around the DTS model. You do it and then you teach it. And why do we teach it? And here's the piece you talk about. Because at the point of incident, your manager is capable of executing on the skills we have taught versus every other trainer, consultant that's out there is going to make you wait until they show up. And then they're going to go, so tell me about the last 2 weeks there, Jay. And then I get to look like a freaking brilliant sucker by going, you really should have done this. Now, don't get me wrong. You're still going to, that's how you do it, right? You walk in and you go, I'm freaking brilliant. I told you what you should have done, right? But here's where we take this ceiling and we break the ceiling, and we can take organizations that have maybe 5 managers. Maybe there's the mechanic, the guy or the gal who's in charge of the mechanic shop, the service shop. We got the operations. We've got the accounting, the manager. Maybe I have 5 managers in a small business. Every one of those 5 need to be taught how to articulate and work with their people. You're the one that gets to do it. Now, here's what's interesting. That manager level is never going to be able to hold the executive level accountable. So that's where you reside. So we help teach our consultants how to say, look, don't lose your model. You're making money today, but let's just work on trying to bring up maybe 3 to 4 smaller companies, or smaller, not companies, but the 3 to 4 of these that could do the DTS model. We're going to go in and say, look, I'd love to train you. I don't got the bandwidth, but what I'd love to do is expose you to our platform. And then I'd like to install our platform into your organization and like to support you. Typically, that relationship is 2 to 4 years long. And I've got clients that have been with me for 11.
Oh,
now,
absolutely. I mean, here's the key. Not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
I don't want to get too far from what you just said. Rockefeller said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 men's work than 100% of my own.
Wow. I'm going to write that down.
Take that in for a sec. I'd rather have 1% of 100 men's work than 100% of my own. Because with 99% or 100% of the time free, if he's literally getting 1% of 100 workers work, he still has 100% of his own time free. He can go out and get 200 workers, 300 workers, 400 workers. His time is left to create wealth, not deliver wealth, not deliver the value that was creating the wealth, in other words. So going out and finding an organization where you say, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to show you how awesome this platform is. The key is you got to have something that you own the IP on that they can't get access to. Otherwise, because this is where the most people push back. Well, if I teach them how to do my job, they won't need me. They won't. If, you better charge $1 million for the training because it's done. You just gave them everything. Yeah. In this model, the third step has to come with a license. There has to be something that they can't get anywhere but from you. Yep. But it's not really that necessary. It's critical, but it doesn't become a pressure where they're like, well, I wish we didn't have to get this from Jay, because you've installed a methodology.
And here's what I'll tell you. And then I'll kick it back to you. But here's what's powerful. Every organization, and we'll do this on a separate session, separate video, when we start talking about recruiting, every organization in the world that is successful is always recruiting, no matter if they need people or don't. And we'll do a whole video just dedicated to recruitment. Yeah. Because here's the deal. If they're always recruiting, then they're always looking for talent. But here's the thing. Doesn't mean I'm always going to bring somebody on board. But if I objectively have the data analytically to determine should they be kicking ass for me, I will get rid of that bottom individual because I know. So that's enough.
Let's use hiring. We can do this DTS model. We've seen it done with everything. Sales, team building exercises.
Emerging leaders, succession planning.
Leadership development, management training. We've got methodologies on leadership development and management training. We've got them on TV. We have actual courses that we'll give you as an Intermetrics consultant that you can learn how to go deliver leadership development training.
You can buy them. You can't.
That's it. There's millions of them out there. They can go download Wharton on leadership for free. Ivy League program. So let's use hiring as the practical example before we run out of time. You come to an organization, biggest problem on their plate is hiring. They don't do a good job of it. They got way too much turnover. Those that they do get aren't performing very well. So you go in and you say, you know what, here's part of the problem. You're not finding the right people. Let's understand what it is that it takes to succeed in this role. Let us help you using these profiles, figure out what these people should be, and then let's use the profiles to go find the attributes in those individuals. Hey, look, last 10 hires, you're loving it, aren't you? Okay. Now I've been charging you to do this. DTS, now it's time to teach it. I can continue to charge you if that's what you want to do. If you don't have the bench strength or you don't trust them or you don't want them to, keep paying me. That's fine. It's going to cost you a lot more and I'm going to charge a lot more because I need to make a lot more money. So when I'm not doing my time thing, I'm still making money. But why don't you let me teach you? Okay, cool. Well, we got 3 people in the office. There's 5 managers. I'll teach all of them how to use these profiles to find better salespeople and leaders and developers. It's $5,000. Just give me $5,000. I'll come in. It's $1,000 a head. I don't give a damn. Give me 5. Give me a day. Give me $1,000 each. I'll transfer my knowledge and show them how to use it. Boom, done. Following week, moment that's over, here's your license. Now that you know, I've created a market. I've created supply for what demand I also created. This is where it's like this insane model. First, I create the demand, then I deliver the supply. I've created both. So these managers now in the organization are walking, talking, living creatures that are going, we need these profiles because I now know how to use them. And they're paying $300 a month, $500 a month. But I'm free now. I've spent 2 months there. I'm free to now go find the next one. And after a month or 2 of working with them, they'll pay me $1,000 a month. And then I'm free to go. I'm making $2,000 a month. The 3rd month, 4th month, I'm off to find another one. Yep. There's our 20 minutes. You get the idea.
Dude, I want to go back just be a CIC right now and kick some ass.
I know. Time to go sell some shit. Next week.